Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here, along with head coach Scott Langer. As usual, Coach, I appreciate you taking some time to talk with us here. Big weekend over in Cloquet, up in the Iron Range there, taking on the Wilderness. Friday night, a 2-1 loss that really could have gone either way. I felt like the boys played a solid game, especially coming off that bus trip and that long ride and everything. That featured Keenan Spillum getting his first goal as an Aberdeen wing. And, with the exception of some errant passes perhaps and a few minor missed keys, a game that definitely could have been in the win column, but with a minute 38 left, I think it was, they ended up scoring in a game that felt like it was going to overtime. What were your thoughts on Friday night's matchup?
Well, I mean, as expected, we started late. When you get off the bus after that trip, it's expected, but I thought our game picked up. I mean, we really played well in the second and third period. Probably the last 7 minutes we could have been better with getting pucks behind them and not allowing the Wilderness to put so much pressure on us. But they played a really good game. When you evaluate them on tape, you watch their transition against us on Friday. They were very good. They probably deserved the 2 points in that game. And we're about one chip pass and a smart play from getting a point, and that hurts. But Timmy's team over there played very well.
Yeah, they really did. And but you go into Saturday's matchup, and that's a totally different game. I mean, it felt kind of similar, I guess, through the first period. But as the second period went on, and you guys are able to put 5 goals in, and we'll get to those here in just a moment. As you mentioned, midway through the second, it just seemed like the boys started to as you said, play a little better. Things started to turn around. One of the things I noticed, and I don't know the exact statistic, but it really seemed like there was some success at the draw that started midway through the second, lasted through the third, and was really obvious in Saturday night's matchup with being able to win the faceoffs. And again, I didn't see the statistics, but it just felt like being able to start with the puck like that really helped help the boys again throughout Friday nights, but certainly Saturdays as well.
Yeah, that was a big difference from night one to night two in the face-off circle. And when you're starting with the puck as opposed to starting without it, you have such a better opportunity to create offense and even in the defensive zone break pucks out. And we struggled on that on Friday. They were very good in the face-off circle, and we weren't very good. But I thought that was part of the game we talked about, heading into that contest on Saturday, and our guys embraced it, and certainly was very helpful for our hockey team.
Yeah. Well, without a doubt, and Saturday, as I talked about, the scoring really opened up after the first period. It started with Bossert scoring his 18th of the season, Logan Genuine with his 7th, Gage Mackey with his 14th on a power play, and then a shorthanded goal for Dimoff as he gets his 15th, and Carroll his 5th on the power play. Then Dimoff adds an empty netter, and Fletcher making his 8th of the season, making it a 7-1 final when the horn sounded. Things as the second period started and continued on, the ice really tilted. Guys doing things really well, moving the puck well. And it's funny because in the first period there was some chances. Genuine had one that sailed a little bit. Another one, I think it was off of Kanya's stick and just popped up over the crossbar. But there were some good scoring opportunities, and I remember even commenting saying, you keep those things up, and eventually they're going to go. And they really did start to fall for you guys there in the second, and of course into the third. What did you like about the way things kind of came together? What was different about this, particularly the second and third period Saturday?
I mean, the big thing is we got out in front.
Yep.
That was a big goal by Bossert, a heck of a pass by Andy Carroll, and it really seemed to spark our bench. And from that point on, we were playing on our toes and making plays, and our transition got a lot better. We were going from defense to offense pretty quick, and that's usually their MO. They're a very good transition hockey team, but our guys just had some confidence, and it was nice to see us score some goals. We've been in a situation where we're fighting to score goals down, for quite a few games here in a row. But our guys just stuck with the game plan. That's a big part of it. Is Friday night, I don't believe our guys were 100% into our game plan. I think Saturday, we addressed it, had a good meeting, and our guys embraced the game plan, and it paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. They win on Saturday night for the Wings. One of the things we always kind of mention, specialty teams, Saturday night they shined again. The kill was 0 of 3 and 2 of 4 on the power play. on Saturday night. So that's big too. And we've talked about the confidence that brings when you have the advantage and you go out there thinking, hey, we can do this. That really seemed to help a little bit too. And then of course the play of course Leger, he did really well, and it looked like he was on his way to a shutout, and wasn't the case, but still a very solid game between the pipes for Forbes, I thought too.
Yeah, no question. I mean, he kept us in there early. There was parts of that game that the Wilderness were going at a pretty good rate, and he just gave us the opportunity to settle in. And you look at our specialty teams. That's how you have to play in order to win, especially in a place like Cloquet, against a team like the Wilderness. You got to cash in on your power play a little bit, and you got to be perfect on your penalty kill, because they'll hurt you in all those areas. So, like I said, our guys bought into the game plan. They were good, capitalized. We were a little opportunistic on our shooting and our goals. And with that, you get a good score, and you get them to your rink the next weekend. So it's positive.
Yeah, absolutely. A good weekend for sure. Again, congratulations, Keenan Spellum, on his first goal as a wing, and everybody contributing pretty much on Saturday night. That was awesome to see. When I talk about everybody contributing, one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit was how balanced this team seems to be. You're getting scoring from all kinds of different lines and different positions. How important is that to a team as they go down the stretch here?
I think it's crucial. I mean, you're never going to have your top guys scoring all the time, especially when teams are keying on them and putting guys out there to shut them down. And you need that secondary scoring, and everybody contributes. I've always been a fan of having 4 lines of production. I've never been a big fan of having 1 or 2 lines just completely shutting teams down, or just mucking and grinding. I want everybody to contribute, and I think when we're doing that, you see the results are there. When we are just relying on 1 line or 1 or 2 lines, we're not a very good hockey team. So when we're going, all 4 lines are going and contributing.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing, Coach, I wanted to talk about a little bit, because it's been a little up and down. I mean, ever since the 8-game win streak. And some would say that consistency is a big key, to a good hockey team. How can you, as a staff, as a team, how can you kind of level things out where you're, the best effort, the best game is played every night, and you don't have those kind of peaks and valleys? Is that, and maybe that's not even accurate, but I've heard it before, I guess. The consistency is a big part of being able to be successful. What are your thoughts there?
No, it's huge. And the teams that figure that out are the ones that go the distance. And it's one of the toughest things at the junior level is to get your guys to show up every single night, and a good majority of them every night. You'll get efforts from certain guys, and some guys will just not show up. But that's the level. We work on that consistency every day. We talk about it. And, in order for us to make the playoffs, or to go in, be successful in the playoffs, if we're lucky enough to get there, we need everybody going, and we need that consistency. And it's one of the toughest things at this level of coach, because it's you're dealing with youth, mentality, and it's not easy for those guys. They're not a pro. You have to tie it on every single night. So, we talk about it, and like I said, the nights that we're there, we're consistent as a group, because we do some really good things and we're fun to watch. You also see the nights where there's guys that take the night off, and it completely hurts our lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine the challenge that creates. You mentioned it. You get a chance to see the Wilderness again coming up this weekend here at the ODI Center, both Friday and Saturday night. Obviously, coming off of a weekend against this team, I wouldn't imagine there's going to be too many surprises. How does the week of preparation, I guess, look for a homestand against the Wilderness, team that you just had obviously very recently just seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to have a lot of focus to it. Yeah. I mean, every game it's not just cliche. Every game right now for this team is a playoff type game. We cannot afford to drop points. That Timmy's going to have that team over there prepared and ready to go, and they work very hard, that staff. So we're going to have to be completely focused, and we're going to have good practice. We can't just get through it and go through the motions. We got to up our level every day, so once we hit the ice on Friday, we're at our peak, and we're ready to go. Well,
no doubt the OD will be rocking. We'll have a great crowd on hand as the Wings continue to make that playoff push. Right now, sitting in the 4th position with minus 70 points on top of the division. Wilderness with 62 in 2nd, Brookings with 57 in 3rd, Wings with 54, and Bismarck hanging in there, scratching at the door with 52 points, and then Austin with 46. Bobcats able to sweep the weekend against Austin, and with 8 games left, and they're just waiting for a slip up, or and they're right there, and certainly not out of the hunt by any means. Of course, does that add any pressure, do you think, to the players and so on? Do they feel that?
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I mean, it's part of sports,
Yep.
And you look at the great job that Lane's done in Bismarck. He turned that thing around, and probably the hottest team in the division in the last 10, 12 games, and rightfully so. I mean, that team's been a contender every season. You know that they're going to play good hockey, but hey, right now we're in that spot, and it's ours to lose. Our guys have to be up to the challenge, and we just know that we need points every single night. In order to do that, you need great efforts.
Yeah. Well, Coach, final question here. I had Adam Pitters joining the lineup on Saturday night. A young man from Grosse Pointe, Michigan, that his high school season wrapped up. Sounds like able to join the Wings. I got to tell you, even just from watching warm-ups, I was impressed with him. He just seemed like not a duck out of water by any means. I mean, you could tell that he knew where he was at and what he was supposed to be doing. I was pretty impressed with his play overall, the level of physicality and real kind of take charge for it being his very first game as an Aberdeen Wing. What can you tell us about Adam Pitters?
Here's a player we had brought to camp this summer. Had a great camp. Obviously, he went back for his senior year. Our two scouts, Kyle and Dave Mitchell in Michigan, identified him and watched him all year, and he had a great season. But we knew coming in that his approach is really business-like. He's a really serious kid when he straps him on, and he's intense, and it showed in the face-off circle. I mean, he was taking big draws for his first game of his junior career. I had him out there in the defensive zone and in big-time situations to win draws, and it tells you a little bit about his ability. But Adam stepped in. It's not easy to do your first junior game and to just fit in, and he stepped in with Mackey and Fletch, and I thought that line had a great game. So yeah, I mean, hats off to Adam Pitters, because that's usually it takes about 10 games for a junior player to kind of just figure things out, and he was right there.
Well, you mentioned it. Usually there is a bit of a curve coming from the high school games into the juniors, and like I said, even in warm-ups, you could just tell that he was a no-nonsense kind of guy, and I think I commented in the broadcast that I don't remember him losing a draw, so he was really solid for sure, and a great addition to the Aberdeen Wings. Looking forward to seeing him play here at the Odeon for the fans to be able to cheer him on. Speaking of that, folks, remember Friday night, March 17th versus the Minnesota Wilderness. It is St. Patrick's Day party at the Odeon. First responders night as well. All first responders, EMT, police, and firefighters will receive free admission to the game. And of course, Saturday night, March 18th versus the Wilderness. Again, it's a season ticket holder appreciation night. Games puck drop at 7:15 both nights, and you can catch them on 94.1 The Rock, hockeytv.com, or clubcityradio.com. You can download the 94.1 The Rock app too if you're out of the listening area on your mobile device or your phone, whatever, to listen to the games. So that will pretty much wrap up our first segment of the Wings Weekly. We'll be back with a couple of players after this word.
Let's make a taco. No, seriously. Start with a tortilla, soft tortilla. Warm it, kiss it. Don't kiss it. Chicken? How about tequila lime chicken? Now we're cooking. Slice this, peel that, snip those. Salsa? Verde. Cheese? Cotija. Oh, forgot to mention. Guac. That's better. See, anyone can make a taco, but we're not anyone. We're Qdoba, and these are knockout tacos. Qdoba Mexican Eats. Choose flavor.
Welcome back to Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, and now, as promised, a couple of players joining me. Trey Bagwell from Tempe, Arizona, and Andrew Sinard from Brentwood, Tennessee. Boys, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to talk with us a little bit here on Wings Weekly and let the fans get a little insight into your lives and what makes you tick, even though I've been threading this with you all year.
I know.
Nobody knows what makes this guy tick. But again, thanks a lot for taking some time to talk with us here on Wings Weekly, boys. Trey, I'll start with you, even though, again, I'm afraid this guy's a little bit of a loose cannon, folks. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth. But one of the questions I always ask is when do you get started? How early were you on the ice as a hockey player?
Honestly, in Arizona, I don't even know when you start. It's just kind of find ice and start skating. My dad started when he was younger, so he just put me in. Luckily, I got on skates around 3 or 4, and then from there, just loved it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How about you, Andrew?
I was actually born in Dallas, Texas. around the time the Stars were doing pretty well. And so I started skating there, and my dad grew up playing in Michigan. So
It's interesting how, and I was talking with Carson last week about this a little bit too. It's interesting how many players or people, I should say, somebody in their family somewhere along the line played, and that's how they got started. And because otherwise, you just wouldn't think you'd be exposed to it without. Interestingly enough, a defenseman and a forward, one of the things that I'm curious about, and as I guess a little bit of developmental league coaching that I've done, we always tell people not to single out a particular position until a certain age. That it's good to be able to understand each position and play the different spots on the ice. At what point did you guys decide, what, I'm a forward, I'm a defenseman, how does this work? Or did somebody say, this is where you're going to be best, it's going to be best for your career?
I knew right away. As soon as I stepped on the ice, I was a goal scorer. I never played defense. It was just never part of my game. Still isn't part of my game. But yeah, I think since I started hockey, I was always wanted to be a forward.
He's a goal scorer, he says. How many goals you got this year, guys?
I don't know. I can't even count that high, honestly.
How about you, Andrew?
I think just, growing up, I played a little bit of both, and it really develops all parts of your game. Just
for sure.
So I think it helps out kind of being all over the ice and understanding each position.
How much does your size? 6'7". How much does that reach, and that does it help you out defensively? And also, did it have some impact, I guess, or maybe a little bit of influence on being a defenseman?
I think yes, it had a very large influence just because it can make up for mistakes if you have a long reach.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just poke the puck off your opponent's sticks a lot easier. Yeah, being a 6'7" forward would be pretty hard to move around in the ozone and make small area plays. So I think it's definitely a benefit in the D zone.
Yeah, without a doubt. And that was something I know that when you first joined the team, that was a lot of people were talking about that poke check and being able to get that stick out there. It definitely helps out a lot. Off the ice, what do you guys do? I know some guys work, some guys are still in school, or maybe they're taking classes online. Whatever. What are you guys up to when you're away from the ODI center?
I work a couple of shifts a week at Dunham's. Want to get some sweet shoes? Stop by.
Oh wow, that's just some extra money there for sure. I don't even work right now. I came in late to the season, don't have a job, but I still work hardly at the rink. I still do community service and stuff. And yeah, that's about it. Watch The Office on Netflix, and that's about it. Live a great life.
You watch so much Office.
It's such a good show.
It is
Gotta
a
love
great
it.
show. But and you mentioned it. You guys do a lot of things away from the ice as a team, whether it's in the Stratford Community Theater or if it's, maybe at the Boys and Girls Club or whatever, a lot of different events going on around town where you're helping out kids and so on. Because as you guys know, when Wings, with the Wings, skate with the Wings are, surrounded, by so many of these young people. Some of them are hockey players, some of them aren't, but they look up to you guys. Without a doubt, you can tell when the Wings do their skate with the Wings, how much attention, they're just in awe. You get autographs and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool how much of an influence that you guys actually do have on the youngsters and the younger generations, I guess, here around Aberdeen, huh?
Oh, just getting to promote the game of hockey and being able to kind of spread our love for the game to the fans is awesome because it's just a great sport. So when they give us opportunities to go to the community and be with our teammates, it just kind of brings us all together and it's a great experience.
For sure. I know you guys get a chance to skate with the elementary schools and stuff at different times, and that's an awesome way too for people who maybe haven't ever been to a Wings game to experience hockey and be able to see you guys and go home and say, hey, can we go to a Wings game? And Mom and Dad, it's hard to say no.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's great that the impact and influence. And I know it's a big part of the organization as a whole too. How active you guys are in the community. Trey, I got to ask you about bus tag.
Okay. You want me to start?
You want to go through the story this week?
Well, okay, bus tag, it's not, I didn't create bus tag. It's, I think it's been a long, junior hockey thing, but Langer's not a huge fan of it because it takes 15, 30 minutes at a gas station, but once you do bus tag, it just has to stay. It's a great time. And then who's ever last to tag, get tagged. They have to sing on the bus, but usually I just sing anyways because I like to take over. Little DJ Baggy for sure.
Yeah.
So
We saw a little DJ Baggy on
Yeah.
Snapchat
Yeah.
this weekend too, so I had to bring it up because
sure.
even when you lose, you still sing. What is that all about? You just love the attention.
I don't know if I'm an attention lover. I think I don't know. Am I at
Yeah,
home?
you are.
Okay, I am.
Yeah.
I just love to sing. I love audience. I love to just be in front of the lights. I think that's what it is, Jay.
Well, that's this is a great spot for you.
It
then.
is. I was so excited.
And you guys share a bill at home, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So Andrew, I got to ask you, does he drive you nuts or what? I mean, how does this guy? What is the relationship like? Because I feel like it's a little bit like Oscar and Felix from The Odd Couple or something.
Oh,
That's probably too old of a reference for you guys.
I
But
did know.
I think I can tone him down a little bit when we're at home, but once I see him around the boys, he's an animal. There's unlimited amount of energy.
Yeah.
But at home, it's nice to have some excitement around all the time.
I
So,
get that. I can only imagine. What else? Let's see. What else can we talk about? Or other questions? You know, some of them they get a little stale. I ask all the guys the same kind of questions over and over. But you guys, both of you, I guess, are a little bit later to the team than some of the guys that started out from the very beginning. What were your first impressions of Aberdeen and of the ODI Center and of the fans as a whole when introductions are being done and so on, and you go through the tunnel and stuff? Kind of a little bit of chill, a little bit of goosebumps at the first time, or no?
I mean, first of all, I just say, everyone here was just so accepting and just really brought us in like we had been their teammates the whole season, and so that was off. That was a great experience.
Right.
And then, I mean, yeah, it's exciting every game. It never gets old running through the tunnel and seeing the lights.
It's definitely a culture shock. Like, this town's so small for where I come from, so it was definitely different. But I mean, Aberdeen's grown on me. I absolutely love it here. Fans are great. Like I say every time, I think we have the best fans in the league. So it's been a great experience so far. The players are so welcoming, and
Right on. Yeah. Well, kind of what I expected, but but everybody, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just it's awesome to hear that because I know that the fans, really appreciate you guys as players and as people as a whole too. So it's great, that you guys recognize that, I guess, a little bit. Question, tough one here now, and a serious one.
okay.
I talked to Coach. 8 games left. You're sitting right now in the final playoff spot. Bismarck's knocking on the door. Are you stressed out about that at all? Do you maybe just pull on the laces a little tighter when you're lacing them up, or is it like, hey, this is the job I do. I do it every day. It's no different whether it's practice or whether it's whatever it is.
I think without pressure, it wouldn't be any fun. I mean,
Good point.
We're all competitors. We're really devoting our lives to playing hockey. So if you give us an opportunity to really put it all on the line, it just makes it that much more fun to lace them up and play for the logo.
I think that is a great point.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, you check the standings a little more, just seeing where everyone is and who's creeping up. But Scott has a great plan for us, and you just have to buy in. And I think at the end of the season, we're going to be happy where we are.
Yep. Very professional answers, gentlemen. That's great. Well, folks, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. These guys are busy. He's got episodes of The Office to watch,
for sure.
so we're going to end this now. But back in action again Friday and Saturday night, 7:15 puck drop against the Minnesota Wilderness here at the ODI Center. Come on out. St. Patty's Day party here at the OD, and, of course, First Responders Night on Saturday night. So everybody getting in free who are firemen, police, or EMTs. Oh, wait a minute. That's Friday night. My bad. Friday night is the EMT, police, and firemen, First Responders Night. Free admission to the game. Then on Saturday night, it's season ticket holder appreciation night. 7:15 puck drop on 94.1 The Rock, HockeyTV.com, HubCityRadio.com. And that will wrap it up for this week's Wings Weekly. We'll catch you next week.